coming tradition and legacy. And Spirit Splash was born. We were excited, but we had one hiccup. The administration came to me and said, by no means should we encourage students to go in the fountain. Well, we all knew that that wasn't going to happen.
That was a live look at Spirit Splash. We'll get back to the reflecting pond in just a moment. Coming up on UCF Nightly News. The highlight of homecoming week will tell you the history of this famous tradition.
Plus, a tribute to a school alumna and football superfan that marked you left on the UCF community.
In sports, the women's club soccer team is heading to nationals. How they're getting there, next.
Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Jeffrey Laux.
And I'm Alina Haru. Today is Friday, October 28th, 2022. The best tradition not only in the state of Florida, but in the country is back at UCF. Before we get to the action, Nightly News reporter Erica Brockish tells us about the history of a fan favorite homecoming event.
It's a one-of-a-kind experience.
In 2011, UCF received the Best Campus Tradition Award for Spirit Splash from the National Association for Campus Activities. The tradition dates back to 1995 and is held every Friday before the homecoming football game. The tradition of throwing out custom homecoming ducks started back in 1997 when the homecoming staff was looking for something light and easy to throw. Students wait around the reflecting pond for hours in anticipation of running into the pond to get a beloved UCF homecoming duck.
I'm just excited to see this green just fill up behind us and just to have an amazing experience and just have that true UCF spirit come out.
The UCF cheer team performs throughout the event, including a full dance and tumble routine. For the seniors on the team, every year has been a different experience due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
My first year, it was like the basic UCF Spirit Splash. It was great. It was a beautiful first experience. And then the pandemic hit, so it was a little bit different. And then last year, it had to rain. So being able to kind of come full circle and start and finish with a really real Spirit Splash is going to be amazing.
For the squad as a whole, they look at this performance as more of a time to create a fun environment for their friends and fellow students.
We love Spirit Splash because it's a huge performance for us. It's the only other performance we have besides our nationals routine, so it's a great chance to get out in front of a crowd and just perform what we love doing.
Stay tuned as Nightly News takes us out to the reflecting pond for a live look at Spirit Splash.
So if you want to test your luck, come out and try and catch a duck. In the UCF reflecting pond, Erica Brockish, UCF Nightly News.
Did you know it's actually been 25 years since OSI began throwing out those ducks at Spirit Splash?
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really history for like a newer university in Florida.
Yeah.
Now, let's toss it over to Nightly News reporter Sam Sullivan out at the reflecting pond.
Guys,
Hey
the
Sam,
energy is alive
what's
and
the
well
energy
here at
looking like
Spirit
out there?
Splash 2022 homecoming. People are alive and well. You see the pond here is loaded with students. Athletes and cheerleaders are here ready to go. The ducks are about to be thrown in any moment. We've had faculty and staff here getting the show prepped and ready to go. We have alumni, current students coming into the university ready to come and be ready. We have everybody about to be ready and underway. Just moments ago, we had people rush this pond. The energy is alive and well. Despite the weather being a little bit overcast, that does not exclude all these people coming out here. I've spoken to students here who have said they've had exams this morning. They've come to them in bathing suits, ready to come here right after their exams and being ready to go. So take a look over here. We have the cheerleaders here in the area. We had a special guest appearance of Mackenzie Milton come out. He is ushering part of this performance today. He has come around and told everybody, get excited, be loud. And we also got to sing happy birthday to Gus Malzahn, head coach of the UCF 2022 football team. It's his birthday today, so we got to celebrate that. If you take a look over here, we get to see all of the basketball players, football players, cheerleaders, students. Everybody is alive and well here today. In just a few moments, we will have the ducks come in here, ready to go, ready to be thrown in. Back to you guys, back in the studio.
Wow, that was really exciting to watch right there. It looked like it was like 2017 almost. Oh my goodness. And as you just saw, Spirit Splash is known for the iconic rubber ducks that are thrown at students. Whether you get in the water or not, you might get lucky and catch a ducky. The ducks are so popular, some people try to sell them on eBay for a lot of money, ranging from $100 to $10,000. Cesar Brazal, a senior civil engineering major, has caught 3 ducks during his time at UCF, and he's hoping to get a 4th duck in his last semester here.
I want to make the best out of it and, catch a duck for my last semester.
At his collection of Spirit Splash ducks. He says it's a UCF tradition to be there and to catch a duck, so of course he could not miss it. The new 2022 duck will be revealed today. Good luck, Knights, and stay safe out there. There's still a handful of homecoming events ahead this weekend, right, Alina?
That's absolutely right, Jeff. Emily has those details.
Thanks, Alina. UCF Homecoming and the National Panhellenic Council will be hosting its Step Show competition at 7 p.m. tonight at the Edition Financial Arena. Then there will be a fireworks show on Memory Mall at 9:30 p.m. If you want to get there early to get a good spot, the lawn will open at 9 p.m. And finally, the big game. The UCF versus Cincinnati football game will start at 3:30 on Saturday at the FBC Mortgage Stadium. The school's 2022 to 2023 homecoming court will be announced at halftime. All of these events are free for UCF students with a valid ID. I'll tell you how the weather is going to look if you're heading out to any of these events coming up. Back to you, Jeff and Alina.
Thanks so much, Emily. If you're looking for something fun and free to do this Halloween weekend, look no further. The Lights on Jetter Band is performing an extravagant Halloween display on Celebration Avenue. After working months in advance to ensure music projections and movies are in sync, the family-friendly event is ready to light up the night. While there's no entry fee, donation buckets are scattered across the neighborhood, with proceeds going to the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. The lights will run until Halloween night. After that, the group will get to work on their Christmas show.
The UCF student chapter of the National American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics are building a drone delivery system on campus called Night Dash. Night Dash will deliver food from restaurants on campus to students' dorms by drone. They plan to make an app or a website that works with restaurants like Chick-fil-A. Project Chairman Jonathan Nicholson says he's excited to see students' reaction to the drone.
We hope there's a certain wow factor to having your food delivered by drone. We estimate each delivery is around 2 or 3 minutes long. So if you're going from the Chick-fil-A by the RWC to Towers, that's much quicker than walking there.
Or a ton of energy in, to, putting batteries like in the frame, like making the frame a battery.
For students next year at a small scale. Within the next 3 to 4 years, Night Dash is expected to be fully functional. Universal Creative, which consists of a design team for the theme parks, selected UCF as a partner for their new lab. It offers classes for students to meet with current professionals such as creative directors and engineers. The students chosen to participate will get an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Universal Orlando Resort and Universal Creative. Class time will be split between field trips to the parks and Universal Creative, as well as on-campus workshops. UCF and the lab will hold 2 accredited courses starting in the spring 2023 semester.
Now, with today's weather. Now, let's toss it to Emily McMinn. Hey Emily, how's it looking outside?
Luckily, the weather looks like it's clearing up just in time for Spirit Splash. However, we may see some showers this afternoon. The rain should, however, clear up around 7 p.m. just in time for the fireworks and for that step show, though. The weather this weekend should be perfect, though, for the game and for all the homecoming activities. The temperature will be in the high 80s with no chance of rain, and it will be dropping to the low 70s in the evenings. Maybe pack that light jacket just in case you're out later at night. Have a good homecoming weekend, everybody, and a happy Halloween. I'll have more on what kind of weather you should expect this upcoming week later on in the show. Alina and Jeff, back to you.
Thank you so much, Emily. Next on UCF Nightly News. A school organization holds a candlelight vigil and protest. The cause they're fighting for? Next.
Plus, the nationwide shortage of a common prescription medication. We'll be right back. the death fueling global protests for human rights in Iran and the struggle for those people to be heard continues. UCF Knightly News reporter Allegra Montesano tells us the story of Masha Amini and why it is sparking an outcry from every corner of the world.
Woman, life, freedom. This is the phrase that was chanted in the student union on Wednesday in protest of the alleged murder of Mahsa Amini. She was taken into custody by the morality police in Iran on September 13th because she was supposedly wearing her hijab too loosely. 3 days later, she was pronounced dead. State officials say her death was due to an underlying health condition, but her family says it was never the case, and witnesses say she was beaten to death.
For the past 43 years, this regime has brutalized men, women, and children alike.
The oppressive regime in Iran persecutes those who speak out against it and sometimes bans people from ever returning if out of the country. That's why a vigil participant wanted to share their thoughts on the situation anonymously.
If you cared about Black Lives Matter or what's going on in Ukraine and you claim to stand for human rights, this is a human rights issue, and it's important to just stay aware and not turn a blind eye to it.
The person said they can't even connect with their family in Iran because of the government shutdown of the internet there right now. This is why the Iranian people are pushing to be heard.
As you can see behind me, students and community leaders here at UCF are protesting the mistreatment of Iranian women. They are holding posters such as this, Be the Voice of Iran, to show their support of women's rights there.
UCF alumnus Ihsan Ahmad helped organize the event. He says the onus is on students, like those at UCF, to be informed and uplift the voices of the oppressed.
If we are not free, if we do not liberate one that is oppressed, if we do not liberate the one in pain, how can I claim to be free?
In Orlando, Allegra Montesano, UCF Nightly News.
As of last check, Iranian forces have killed 234 protesters for fighting against the regime in the streets there. Nightly News will keep you updated on this developing story.
As we near the close of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, UCF is honoring the memory of a beloved football superfan. I sat down with some of her dearest friends to reflect on her lasting legacy at the school she loved very much.
Peak was a UCF alumna with an undeniable love for football. Before graduating in 1985, she made lifelong friends as a marching knight and member of the Alpha Chi Omega chapter. She attended games with many of them since the beginning of her time in college.
And it was just magic.
Over the summer, Lynn passed away after a courageous battle with breast cancer.
She was in the hospital 2 weeks before she passed away.
Christy Gibbons, Lynn's sorority sister, continues their pregame traditions.
We'd always have to go by Zaxby's and pull in and get lunch for our little tailgate.
She remembers taking this path with Lynn.
And always walking down this street, every time she would say, "We're among our people."
The two typically ate their game day meals in front of this statue. In 2017, Lynn was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer.
And I said, "What do you want to do with your time?" And she got very, no. She goes, I don't believe in a bucket list.
She gave this to me earlier this year.
Chuck Moffat was a big brother in Kappa Sigma to Lynn.
She was so glad to be here. She was so happy. And this campus was a quarter of its size then. She was a real light in the dark for many of us.
And he's not alone.
She bled black and gold.
Aaron Evans played football for UCF before graduating in 2017. Since then, he's painted murals for the campus, one of them a personal tribute to his dear friend, Lynn.
100% do. To me, it represents her looking down and her presence and her impact.
UCF's football stadium, such a special place to Lynn, is now a space where her memory lives on.
I don't really mind coming by myself because in a way that means her seat is open. She's still there.
In Orlando, Alina Haru, UCF Nightly News.
Christy actually gave me these bracelets Lynn made herself, and I have some for our Nightly News team. Erica and Emily, if you want to grab one. Okay.
Thank you so much.
She just had such a special place on this campus.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. It's a beautiful tribute. Thank you.
There is a nationwide shortage of immediate release form of Adderall right now. The FDA made a statement on October 12th. They claim the cause of the shortage is manufacturing delays at Teva, one of the main companies producing Adderall in the U.S. According to the American Addiction Center, Adderall is the most popular drug amongst college students. Other companies are making the medication, but they just can't meet the demand. Until the supply is restored, the FDA recommends patients talk to a healthcare professional about different formula options. Students and patients affected by the shortage can visit fda.gov for new supply information.
Families preparing for Thanksgiving could be impacted by a nationwide turkey shortage. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the avian flu outbreak is the major reason behind this decline. The virus killed about 6 million birds, roughly 14% of the total U.S. population.
Floridians may start to see fewer citrus fruits on the shelves in 2023. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says Florida is expected to produce over 30% less citrus than last season. That may not seem like much. However, it would be the lowest citrus production since the Great Depression. The USDA says the decline may be caused by a deadly citrus greening disease that has been plaguing crops for years.
Bug transfers a disease to the citrus, which stops the roots from taking up the nutrients it's supposed to have. It lessens the amount of fruit produced, and it leaves the fruit green.
Measurements will be taken in December to see how Hurricane Ian impacted the already low citrus production numbers.
After the break, we'll check in with Emily again for your weather forecast.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Nightly News. Let's toss it over to Emily so she can give us this week's weather forecast. Emily, how's the weather looking for our homecoming football game?
The weather is looking good so far. I think we will be in the clear for tomorrow. But let's look at the highs for some other cities across the state. So up in Tallahassee, we're going to have a high of 81. The 80s will continue down in Tampa and Miami, with Tampa having a high of 86 and Miami at 85. Orlando will also stay in that 80s club with a high of 83. It will drop just a little bit to 77 in Jacksonville. For the lows for the cities, we are going to have a low of 64 up in Tallahassee, as well as 67 in Jacksonville. The rest of the state will be a little higher, with Tampa having a low of 70, Orlando just a bit higher at 71, and up to 73 down in Miami. For our rain percentages, we're going to be looking pretty clear, except for here in Orlando with that 40% chance of rain. The rest of the state will be sitting at a 0% chance. And coming up in our 5-day forecast here in Orlando, we're going to be looking at some pretty sunny skies here Saturday and Sunday, with the high being 86 both days. The low will be 68 Saturday for that football game, so still pretty warm out there with a 0% chance of rain. So you should be all in the clear for all those homecoming festivities. Sunday will have a low of 69 and again a 0% chance of rain, which will carry through the rest of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be a little bit cloudier. Monday will have a high of 87 and a low of 68. That low of 68 will continue through the week, but Tuesday will have a high of 88 and Wednesday will have a high of 86. That's all I have for you now. Back to you, Alina and Jeff.
Coming up, see how the UCF baseball team has rounded out its roster in preparation for their first game tonight.
Plus, hear more about tomorrow's homecoming football game.
Good afternoon, Knights. I'm Erica Brockish, and this is your weekly UCF Sports Update. UCF football is set to face 20th-ranked Cincinnati in their homecoming game on Saturday. The Knights have their biggest conference matchup of the season against the 6-1 Bearcats. UCF is 2-1 in the conference play with wins against SMU and Temple. This is the team's first-ranked matchup of the season. The game will air on ESPN at 3:30 p.m. There are some new faces on the field for the UCF men's baseball team this season. The group added a total of 17 new players to their roster, 8 freshmen and 9 transfers. The team is currently practicing for the rest of fall in preparation for the spring season. Head coach Greg Lovelady shares his expectations for this upcoming season.
I think always we expect big things. Obviously, it feels like every year just the turnover between the draft and graduation and things like that. You get a lot of new players, so the fall is just a great opportunity for us to get those guys acclimated.
These new recruits, of course, as UCF Knights. Their fall season begins tonight at 5 p.m. in a match against the Jacksonville Dolphins at John Giuliano Park. The UCF Women's Club soccer team is raising money for their Nationals tournament in Round Rock, Texas. UCF Knightly News reporter Samuel Sullivan went down to the team's practice field to learn more about their funding process.
The Women's Club soccer team is using platforms like GoFundMe and donor partnerships with Blaze Pizza to raise money for their Nationals tournament next month.
The team started a GoFundMe at the beginning of the month to pay for equipment, travel expenses, and tournament fees. In less than 3 weeks, they reached their goal of $3,000, but are still accepting more donations. Team treasurer Malik Itani says reaching their goal allows more players the opportunity to travel to the tournament.
Raising that $3,000 was actually very surprising. I wasn't expecting it, but it allows us to travel with at least 21 girls at this point, when we usually only travel with about 16, 17.
The team also held a fundraising event on October 19th at Blaze Pizza where they raised just under $100. After going undefeated at home this season, the team generated enough success to receive a bid directly to Nationals. The Knights are grouped with Miami, William and Mary, and Georgia Southern in Region 2. Team president Emily Riggs says making it to Nationals is significant for past and present players, and she's honored to lead the group there.
I've grown a great relationship with alumni and all of them, and so this experience to get to go to Nationals while I'm the president is just really great. I love it.
Riggs says this is the first time the team is competing for Nationals while she's been a part of the club. The club also received a bid this week for regionals, but since they've already accepted the Nationals bid, they will not attend. In Orlando, Samuel Sullivan, UCF Nightly News.
That's all for sports. Jeff and Alina, back to you.
That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our website, nightlynews.ucf.edu.
And if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. Thanks for watching and have a good day.